Continuing my reviews of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies before Dead Men Tell No Tales, now we get to At World's End. Now, in a previous video, I don't know, I forget which one it was, but in a previous video I remember saying that I didn't like At World's End, and, I mean, rewatching it, I think I might have been wrong about that. I mean, I'm not just like one of those people who changes their mind saying, oh, this movie wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I mean, sometimes I do that, but then sometimes I rewatch a movie and it's even worse. But for me, not At World's End. Basically, the plot of the movie is, after the events that happened in the end of Dead Man's Chest, the crew have to go back and find a certain somebody after what they did at the very end of the last movie. Because if that person can be brought back, then all the pirate lords can band together to stop Davy Jones. Now, there are some good things and some bad things about this movie. Let me talk about the good first. For one, this movie's effects are still amazing. I also sort of like how we actually see inside the mind of Jack Sparrow for the first time, because he acts all weird and does a lot of things for unknown reasons. But here we sort of see that internal struggle that he's going through, and it's really hilarious. It makes no sense whatsoever, but it is really hilarious, especially when you see a bunch of him. Yeah, you thought one Jack Sparrow wasn't enough? Now you have like 12 or 30 of them or something like that. I don't know, but Jesus Christ, there's so many Jack Sparrows in this movie. And I forgot to say this in my last review, but Naomi Harris still does a really great job as Tia Dalma. And think about it, this was Naomi Harris before she was in Moonlight. I mean, a lot of people know about Naomi Harris now, but I've always thought Naomi Harris was awesome. I mean, she was amazing in these Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And if you've seen Skyfall, I mean, you'll see why she's my favorite Bond girl. She's just awesome. Casualness. I like that. And going back to Davy Jones, we see even more of his internal struggle in this movie. And you definitely see the motivations behind his actions. And some scenes are kind of heartbreaking to watch when you discover certain things that he's involved with. I mean, his facial expressions, his acting, it's just really, really great. And when it comes to Keira Knightley's character in this movie, Elizabeth Swann, she has really come far in terms of badassery. I mean, in this movie, she actually becomes a pirate king. I mean, yeah. And I'm not just saying that, like, they never really say queen, they just refer to her as king. I don't know. And she does a lot in this movie. And at some points even has to save Will Turner. And the end battle sequence in this movie is just all-out war. It is awesome. Like, there's this whirlpool. You see the Black Pearl and the Flying Dutchman just circling each other. Cannons are shooting at each other. People are swinging from one ship to another to fight other pirates. It's just awesome to watch. Especially in this money shot right here where Jack Sparrow and Davy Jones are fighting on this one thing on the ship. I don't know. But that is the money shot right there. I also wonder why Orlando Bloom got nominated for a Razzie for Worst Supporting Actor for this movie. I mean, he was really good in this movie. I don't know why he was nominated. As for issues, there are a few of them. For one, if you're wondering why this movie is called At World's End, I mean, you might think it was about the apocalypse or whatever. Well, it's not. It's like, at one point, they literally go to the Earth's end. I mean, they're implying that the Earth is flat. Now, I mean, for the sake of fantasy, that would be fine, but they've never established this kind of stuff before. And when you see what they have to do to get back into the real world, it makes zero sense. I mean, even my brain can't fathom what they're doing here. Like, they have to rock the ship till it's upside down, and once the ship is completely upside down, like, I guess the world turns and the water comes back down and then they're in real world again. I don't even know anymore. That's just weird as hell. Also, Will Turner's dad, Bootstrap Bill Turner, for some reason he's just gotten this random memory loss. he'll be saying something, and then once the conversation's over, he'll try to start it back up again, but he forgot everything else, so he thinks he's starting the conversation anew again. I mean, you could say that he's been on the Flying Dutchman for so long that his memory's just been deteriorating. But this was never established in the first movie. I mean, I don't know the time span between Dead Man's Chest and At World's End, but I mean, it couldn't have been that long. Not at all. So again, why is his memory deteriorating? I mean, this wasn't in Dead Man's Chest, so it's just out of left field in this movie. Also, I'm going to give a light spoiler referring to something being killed. So yeah, as always, I'm going to put a spoiler warning here so you can mute this. And once this thing disappears, you can turn the volume back up. I'll give you a few seconds to mute it. You good? Great. Okay. How did the Kraken die in this movie? Now, it was said that Cutler Beckett had Davy Jones's heart and pretty much forced Davy Jones to kill the Kraken. Okay, yeah, that part is not confusing. The confusing thing is, how did he kill that fucking thing? How did Davy Jones kill such a fucking huge creature? And it's not like, you know, how people kill whales, because this thing is way bigger than any whale I've ever seen. And obviously, Davy Jones doesn't really have anything to fight the Kraken. I mean, yeah, he has cannons, but Dead Man's Chest, wasn't the Kraken able to sort of regenerate very quickly? Hence why when they shot the creature with a bunch of cannons, a few seconds later, it was just back, but just angrier? How the fuck did Davy Jones kill that thing? I have no clue. And when you see it washed up on the shore in this movie, I mean, it looks just fine. I mean, granted, we didn't see the entire creature because we never really see the entire thing in its full view, so maybe the damage is underneath or something. But still, regardless, how do you kill a fucking thing that huge with the technology that you have at that time? In the end, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End does have some problems. Some things that I just cannot grasp in terms of reality, even in a pirate movie that has these set of rules. It still is a nice fitting conclusion to the story that was built up in Dead Man's Chest. So I'm going to give Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End a 7 out of 10. Stay tuned for my next review, which is going to be for Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. And I have a lot to say about that movie. And not in terms of a bunch of negative things, but in terms of mermaids. Yeah. Fucking mermaids. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like, share the video so we can get the channel circulated, and if you want to see more, click this.